Hello viewers, it's been a while since I've done a video and I've had some requests, so I figured I might as well plunge back into the water. This is Lisa in Connecticut Worms and Gardens. For my existing subscribers, welcome back, and for new subscribers, welcome. I wanted to just do a simple video today, which is peeking in on this European nightcrawler bin that is ready for harvest. And the reason I chose this out of all of my bins, excuse me, is that these Euros have gotten really big, really robust, and the castings look amongst the best of the castings I create. Meaning this isn't the only bin that has castings of this quality, but this is the quality that I strive for, and these worms have just grown tremendously big and fat and huge. I'm trying a different angle with the phone and a different lighting system here. I'm hoping it's going to work. I may review this video and never post it, but so anyway, I checked this 3 days ago. I gave them a little bit of food and some water, and I put the covering back on so that I could let them reestablish themselves so I could do this video. So let's dive in together. This is just, this is one of the mailing envelopes, and I use my heat sealer to seal the edges down to be the size of the bus bin. Now, of course, right away on top you can see castings on the newspaper, and right over here you can see, whoop, there he goes, a little guy. I think I can zoom in a little bit more without compromising the video quality. I'm going to peel back this newspaper here. Now, one thing I did notice when I checked this the other day is these castings are the real sticky castings, which I absolutely love. They seem to, I don't know, they just seem to be higher quality than anything else. Typical mango shell here with a couple guys in it. Couple guys, couple gals, not sure, but I'm going to shake them out so that I can dig down here for you. Now, here's a Euro, a very active Euro. Hey, you want to be the star, don't bounce out. You can see how big the clitellum is. Sorry, my dog had to bark right away. You could see how big the clitellum is, or you could see when it was first stiffened up, and they're breeding like crazy. And they're doing great. So let's dig in, because I want to show you again. This bin is completely harvest ready. Here's another, and you can see they're really fat, and once they stretch out they are really long. These are about the best I've seen. Look at this guy. This is a fat Euro, and like most Euros, when you first pick them up, they're stiff. I don't know why, they just possess that quality. And once they stretch out, they can get quite lengthy. I've had some in here that are exceeding 7 and 8 inches. Let's see. Let's just wait a minute and see if this one here will stretch himself out. You can see the banding. I love the colors. I've always loved the banding in Euros. Yeah, the lighting isn't looking great from my view, but my vision is rapidly deteriorating, so that may be me. I'm going to just dig a few more out and plop them up here with these, just so you can see why I'm so impressed. Hopefully you can see the banding in that. They're really, really nice. Now, what have I done? Why am I bragging? Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I have right now 62 bins, and they're all maintained pretty much identical. This particular bin excelled in how fast the castings were created, how big the worms got. I mean, look at this Euro. It looks like a finger. It is so darn fat. And other than some Japanese sweet potato, because I keep a log book of all of my bins, what they ate, when, just so if there is an anomaly, I can try to identify what it is, failure or success. And I don't see that I did anything different. So it is it's a mystery to me. They're beautiful. And I'm hoping that this trend continues, because I am going to harvest the bin. Just as I'm flipping them over, I'm just going to pick some up and plop them in my hands. You can see they're just really, really fat. And there are so many cocoons. Actually, I just passed the boat with cocoons hatching. As you can see right here, that's a hatched cocoon. Look at this guy. These are fat, fat worms. And now this one is starting to stretch out and they get huge. All right, so I'm going to keep digging around and not speak so much, but just show you what I can. This is a juvenile, but he's already long. There's really, some of the colors in these are really, really pretty. Hopefully you can see the banding there. It's not looking like, to me, the phone is cooperating, but maybe it is. What if I tip the light? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Look at this guy. Look at this Euro. See? Stiff. They remind me of pencils almost. You can write your name, right? But then once they get stimulated or activated or whatever the proper word is, they start to stretch out, and then you can really see the banding. You really see the beautiful coloring they all have. All right, let me keep. Well, wait a minute. I just found a setting on my phone that I had turned off. So you probably didn't have good lighting. Okay. Now I believe you do. They're fat. They're fat. They're fat. Let me keep digging around here. And look at this Euro. See, he's fat. The banding is beautiful. You can see the castings inside, which I think is always, I think that's awesome, because I love worms. I love their uniqueness. I love the differences from breed to breed. And I think Euros are about my favorite because of the vast difference in colors they can have from one to another, how fast they produce castings, how fast they reproduce, and as someone who enjoys fishing, how wonderful of a fishing worm they make, because they are thick, they are robust, and they do stay on the hook better than, for instance, the African nightcrawler. You know, people think that because they're big, they make great fishing worms. Well, unfortunately, like the Asian jumping worms, the African nightcrawlers have the ability to snap themselves instantly when they feel stressed. And if you cast out a fishing hook with one on it, it's going to have snapped itself up before that line even hits the water. So they really don't make good fishing worms. You know, that's a situation where size doesn't matter, because the size of the worm that you put on the hook is not going to be the size of the worm that hits the water. Now this has got a decent population. They're probably all at the bottom because I had just dug all these up 2 days ago, and I did not feed them anything. So they're completely void of food, because I want to put food in one side here. Here's another, what I think is a real pretty one. The coloring is just so nice. Looks like, yep, look at this. There was a baby attached to him that's now on my finger. And I don't know if you can see this one that's crawling. Let me try to zoom in. The pretty, pretty colors. There's another one right behind him. Look at the pretty, pretty colors here. Oh, again, there's a baby on my finger. Yeah, I think this is better. I could see better now. Hopefully you can. It's almost bright pink around the saddle, band, clitellum, whatever you choose to call it. And then there's the tail section, those beautiful colors. Yes, you have to be a true worm lover to tell a worm has beautiful colors. Here's another fatty. And you know, I've heard people and know people that feed worm chow or chicken crumbles or a lot of things other than kitchen waste. And those things are known to fatten worms up rapidly. And that's okay for them. I don't do that. These worms didn't receive anything like that. And they still grew huge and they reproduced like crazy. Now, this is one of 3 bins that I have where I had the same results over the same time period. Look, he's stretching I'm putting my hand all the way down now, away from the camera, because he's stretching so long that the way the camera zoomed, you wouldn't be able to see it. These are just big, big Euros. And I have taken some out. Look at this guy. Look at this. I'm trying to put it on my hand so you can get some scale, because I don't have a measuring tape right here, but they're big and they're fat. So I don't, here's a cocoon. I don't know if you can tell how big this cocoon is, but it's huge. It's really big. And there are so many cocoons. Look at the pretty pink band on this. Look how beautiful. And all of my worms, with the exception of the urban worm bag, are all in the same room now. So the temperature is the same. Their food has been pretty much the same. I mean, there might be more of one vegetable versus another in one bin, but overall, it's all kitchen scraps and stuff that I had gotten in. I just think that this pink, right there, I just think that's so pretty. Moisture has been consistent. Like I said, I did feed some Japanese sweet potato to this bin, just simply because I had it in my freezer. But I don't think that's the reason these guys got so fat. So I don't know what it is I did differently. I didn't do anything differently. They just got really fat and they're really pretty, and I'm just very pleased. And I guess this is a little bit of bragging, and that's okay to do, right? We all have had those moments, whether it's our child, the pictures of our beautiful pets, an accomplishment we've made in our own personal lives. This is a bin of worms that I am thrilled with, and I'm loving these colors. I love when their nose end tips out, how there's a little white tip. And I think you can see, based on how close up I am holding them, that there aren't any mites or anything unhealthy. There isn't anything unhealthy in this bin. There was a ton of springtails a couple days ago. I'm going to just flip these castings around a little bit. And look at the color of this worm. I know it's not the color that determines the castings or the health or the quality. It's a little white. I guess it's the mouth part. I'm not sure. I could look it up, but by the time I look it up, you'll already have answered me. So, got fat. All right, I'm just kind of losing my focus on the camera here because I'm so impressed with these. And so I guess, I would love to come out here and say, wow, I found a magic formula, and if you do this, you'll get fat, active worms that are reproducing like crazy and growing huge. But I don't know. I don't know. These aren't new stock. They're not from a different supplier. They're not in any type of new bedding. They're not in a different room. They just, for some reason, did really well. Now, I'm not saying my other bins are doing terrible. By no means, they are not. And I could pick up the camera and show you just how many there are. But these ones are just, the colors are beautiful. And the amount of, excuse me, cocoons that I pulled out of here and put into another bin is phenomenal. And I'm focusing, you know, on the center of this bin here so you could see up close the size and the colors of these worms. But if I zoomed back, you could see, and let me do that so you can see the population. Let's see. I'm sure most of them at this point are going to be in the bottom. Here's another really, really, really pretty fat guy. See, they're fat and they all have the raised clitoris, so they're all very actively breathing. And I would say there's maybe 1.5 pounds in here. Not crazy, just enough for a good bin. These castings, as you can see, they stick in a ball, they flake right apart. They've got that sticky, really high bacteria level going on. And unfortunately, there's a few pieces of plastic from some mail I had shredded that I have to remove. But yeah, it's completely void of food. So I'm sure that since I last fed them, they've lost some weight, because if they're not eating, they're losing weight. So they were probably bigger a couple days ago when I noticed how good they were doing. And this bin is 29 days old. So a day under 30 from a complete reset. And I've been running them pretty much on a 30-day cycle. So, yep, I'm just going to toss it around and you can look. And if you have any comments, ideas, suggestions, feedbacks, theories, again, it's not anything different. Water the same, the water source the same, food the same, except for one feeding. Bedding the same, grit the same, temperature the same as all my other bins. But these guys, this particular bin went crazy in performing this time. The worms and the bin. I don't know, maybe they signed some sort of pact. Whatever it is, I hope it keeps happening. So I'm going to harvest this because there's nothing in here other than, unfortunately, some pieces of plastic. Wow, look at the color in here. But other than those pieces of plastic, it is void of anything edible, so it's time. You see the underneath. Look at how pretty. Let me try to zoom back in so you can maybe see the coloring of this. I hear the Family Feud in the background. I have the TV on in the other room and forgot to shut it off. Yes, I've got lots of gunk under my nails. That's okay. That's called working with worms. Close up. And nothing a quick scrub with a nail brush won't fix. I like to do close-ups when I can. This almost looks like a sunset from one end to the other. So on the note of food and food differences, there's going to be a video forthcoming. I haven't filmed it yet because I haven't done the experiment yet. I just purchased from Gaetano at Northeast Worms, 5 pounds of worm chow. Wow, look at this guy. Sorry, 5 pounds of worm chow. It was not gifted to me. It's not part of a promotion. It's not anything he asked me to do. It's not that I'm not a reseller. I'm not an affiliate. He's simply someone I've gotten to know through the worm community that I think has amazing worms. And he feeds worm chow, and he has to because he has a very high volume production, and I don't think he'd have enough kitchen waste to keep all of his worms fed with that. Sorry guys, I paused because my dog started barking, but they're still barking. There's someone at the door making the delivery. Anyway, and he swears by his worm chow, and his worms look amazing. I don't feed worm chow. I am not against anyone doing it, but personally, for the amount of worms I have enough vegetable scraps, and for the purpose I raise worms, or one of the purposes being utilizing my excess kitchen waste and yard waste. If I fed worm chow, then I would be losing that benefit of turning my scraps into castings. So I want to see what all the hype's about. So I purchased a box of worm chow, 5-pound box. It's when he was doing the promotion that you get a free 2-piece garden tool gift set, which I got that too. And what I told him I'm going to do, and again, it's going to be a completely unbiased, honest opinion, I'm going to take 2 bins that are identical, start them fresh, and I'm going to feed one his worm chow and one basic kitchen scraps that I feed all my other bins. And we're going to check them for the 1 month. We're going to check in on them maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. Identical bins, same type of worms. I'm not sure if it'll be Euros or red wigglers or a combo of the two. And I want to see if the worms in his bin grow bigger, faster, fatter than the worms that are fed kitchen scraps. And if they do, that's great. I'm still not switching to worm chow because, again, I want to utilize my kitchen waste by making it into worm castings, or by letting my worms make it into worm castings. But it'll at least be, someone other than Gaetano who sells worm chow speaking of how good his worm chow is. So you'll see firsthand through my bins, 2 identical bins, just what happens with the worms. Maybe nothing. Maybe the way I raise my worms is comparable to whatever nutrients are in his chow, and maybe you won't see any difference. Maybe my worms are going to get massively huge on his worm chow, and again, if they do, that's great, but I'm still not going to switch because I don't want to pay to raise worms when I can raise them for free. I completely understand why he does it and why any big worm supplier would. Absolutely, but I'm not in the worm business. I'm a gardener. I'm an organic gardener, and that's why I raise my worms, and I want to keep it free, other than a few things that I buy. I bought a bag of powdered oyster shell because I don't eat enough eggs for grit, and it's winter here, and getting sand and whatnot is difficult, but that'll last me for years. I have, at one time, I bought a package of Dolomite lime, but it's still sitting mostly full after probably 2 years at least. So, and of course the bus bins, but that's a one-time purchase, and I probably could have used something else. Could have used cat litter buckets or something, but that's a one-time thing. And it's I'm blabbering here. I'm picking up these worms because I'm so impressed with them, and I think they're so beautiful. So let me let you look at them. So that's what this video is about. This video is about a bin that is fully done, that is, in my opinion, performed exceptionally, and the castings are looking super, super nice. They're super Let's see, there's a piece of something here. Oh, this looks like a piece of unfinished mango pit. The castings are nice. They're moist. They're not wet. They're sticky, which means they're very high bacteria and fungal level. I did have mushrooms growing in here because there's a lot of mycelium, and it's all naturally occurring. It's all from what is being fed naturally. And I wanted to announce that you can expect a video series coming out of 2 identical bins, one being fed worm chow and one being fed kitchen scraps. And I'm gonna do them side by side. I'm gonna start with the same type of worm, the same quantity of worms. They're gonna be right next to one another in this room that I'm in, which I will show you in another video. What I've done here, made a little worm room for myself. The same room it was with the spare bedroom, but I've now put my grow tent in here as well. So, you know, because it's Connecticut worms and gardens, and I've been pretty lacking in the gardening videos. But it is seed starting time, so I have a very large grow tent, takes up half the room, and it's time for seed starting. So I put it in this worm with the castings and the worms because that's where I mix my seed starting mix. And it made no sense to have it in a basement or on the upper floor when, you know, I had to carry stuff back and forth up and downstairs. So, okay, well, this video, as always, went on longer than I expected. Not really, because it's been a while. So I hope all of you are doing good. I'm really eager to get your feedback, your comments, and your thoughts, opinions, suggestions, ideas, and also, other than the video that I'm going to be doing showing the feeding of worm chow to one bin and kitchen scraps to another, what video or videos would you like to see? What topics? Is there a certain worm species you'd like to see me do an in-depth series on? Is there a certain experiment you'd like to see? Is there a problem area that you want to know more about or would like to find a remedy to? Temperature, lighting, food, insects, and I don't know that I'll have the answer, but I'll do a video on it. I would definitely answer your questions to the best of my ability. I'm going into my 48th year working with worms, so chances are I've encountered it all. That doesn't mean I have the answer, but I've probably encountered it. Most things that I found are user error or natural environmental cause, and both can be corrected. So, as long as it's not too late. All right, well, I've been digging through these guys. They're probably so annoyed with me, but I'm just so impressed with them. I love Euros, and this bin is doing exceptionally. One of the best I have at the moment. Well, I have not gone through them all yet this weekend, but this is fully ready for harvest, as you can see. And it was about 4 days ago completely packed with cocoons. I went through and picked out, oh gosh, a couple hundred by hand and moved them into another bin. And there's still a lot in here, and there's a lot of newborns in here. And I want to harvest these before there's a whole nother batch of cocoons that get laid in here, because it'll be less to have in a nursery bucket, which is another video I'm going to show you. I'm doing something new for storing my castings and collecting the babies and the cocoons. And it's kind of exciting. It is for me. And I want to share it with you and show you what it is I'm doing. It's made things much easier. Here's another cocoon. And again, it's really big. It's hard probably for you to see. But these cocoons, the cocoons are huge. So I hope you're all having a great weekend. For you football fans, good luck on your team, whatever team is yours. And I hope your weather is starting to get warm for those of you like me who live in the warm climate. In the cool climate, wanting to be in a warm climate. I hope your worms are doing great. I hope you're doing great. And that your year's off to a great start. While I'm not a romantic, I'll say Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you do something fun if you celebrate it at all. If not, It's just another day. But have a good one anyway. All right, guys, until next time, take care.